Naboo may be most strongly associated with Padmé Amidala, but it was also Emperor Palpatine Darth Sidious's home planet, and its importance in Star Wars shouldn't be underestimated. Naboo was introduced in the prequel trilogy, but it has had several appearances throughout Star Wars movies and TV shows since then, at times in rather surprising ways. The planet has also only become more important as the Star Wars timeline has expanded. The culture of Naboo is particularly unique and intriguing in Star Wars, not only because the Naboo royalty involves a complex system combining monarchy and democracy that often leads to teenage queens. The planet is also known for its art, beauty, and gentle way of life, all of which make it stand out among Star Wars' many planets. In addition to the beauty and charming culture of the planet, though, Naboo is a critical part of the Star Wars franchise and has had a massive influence on the galaxy for generations. The greatest Sith Lord hailed from Naboo. It's a bit difficult to imagine Palpatine coming from such a beautiful planet, but Naboo is Palpatine's homeworld. Naboo is a world known for its beauty and a love of the arts, which suits Padmé's personality and values quite clearly, but it couldn't be less like the power-hungry, calculating nature of Emperor Palpatine Darth Sidious. It's arguably one of the odder aspects of Star Wars that one of Star Wars' most powerful Sith comes from one of the franchise's most beautiful, peaceful planets. Of course, villains can come from anywhere, particularly given how the dark side of the Force works. In Palpatine's case, these origins undoubtedly even worked in his favor. His scheme required him to play the role of the well-intentioned, humble senator from Naboo and then Supreme Chancellor, which he did quite successfully. Coming from a planet like Naboo would have helped Palpatine shape this image of himself. It also allowed him to become a mentor to Padmé, and that ended up being absolutely essential to all that came to pass in the prequels. The prequel trilogy makes clear, the events of Star Wars, Episode I, The Phantom Menace were in many ways the catalyst for all the massive changes that took place by the end of Star Wars, Episode III, Revenge of the Sith. Naboo is famously Padmé Amidala's planet of origin, and The Phantom Menace introduced her as the teenage queen of Naboo. It was because of that role that Padmé encountered the Jedi and, ultimately, met Anakin Skywalker. It was only because Naboo was under attack by the Trade Federation that Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi became so involved with Padmé, setting in motion her very fraught trajectory with Anakin. This attack on Naboo also allowed Palpatine to acquire additional power, as Padmé helped to oust Supreme Chancellor Valorum with her vote of no confidence. This event paved the way for Palpatine to make a power grab, and it put the Jedi even deeper in his pocket. Naboo was also the location of the first battle between a Jedi and a Sith in quite some time, as this is where the iconic lightsaber duel between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan took place and ultimately claimed Qui-Gon's life. Until Darth Maul's emergence, the Jedi had believed the Sith to be extinct. Even with the Acolyte throwing that into question somewhat, it does seem to be the case. Naboo would have been significant enough had it just served as Palpatine and Padmé's planet of origin, but it was clearly so much more. Even Naboo wasn't safe from the Emperor's destruction. Skyline of Theed, the capital of Naboo in Star Wars, Episode I, The Phantom Menace. Despite Naboo being Palpatine's home planet, it still wasn't safe from the Empire. During the Dark Times, the politics of Naboo changed quite a bit. Naboo still had an elected monarch, but they were little more than a figurehead. As was the structure throughout the Galactic Empire, it was the Moff who had real control. This was quite a change from the prequel trilogy era, as it was clear Padmé had true executive power and was able to independently make major decisions, including about war and alliances.